Hi class. This video focuses primarily on the virgin soil effect that in turn leads to epidemics. One virgin soil effect that I found interesting was the indigenous peoples and the smallpox virus. The virgin soil effect is when a population has no immunity or contact with an outside pathogen, virus, or bacteria. The disease smallpox has been understood as a supernatural effect, and the natives viewed it as not having a soul, or that a bad spirit has entered the person's body, or that someone had put a curse on the infected person. Smallpox has been devastating to the indigenous populations. The indigenous have thought that this disease was brought on by colonizers and it was something that was not curable. According to Dr. Christine Patterson, smallpox was one of the most feared because of the high mortality rates in infected Native Americans. This fear may have been well founded because the Native Americans were victims of what was probably one of the earliest episodes of biological warfare. According to Alexander Koch, there is a list here of the single virgin soil epidemics throughout history and their mortality. As you can see, smallpox has been listed 5 times. It is believed that the Spanish and Europeans introduced smallpox at 2 different locations of the U.S. First was the Iroquois, which were located in the northeastern part of the United States. Second was the people of Mexico. This is where the Spanish had introduced smallpox. There have been no real big changes on how smallpox is defined, other than it was a major epidemic that happened at various times in history. There have been no changes in the symptoms, and it is a very distinguishable disease. As previously stated, smallpox is very distinguishable. It starts as a rash in the mouth with small red spots. The rash spreads. The sores fill with a thick, opaque fluid. There is a dented center. Soon, the pustules begin to ooze, and then they crust and they scab over. There is currently no cure or treatment for smallpox. It also spreads easily, although there is good news. There is a vaccine. This disease has been treated as a profoundly serious issue because anyone who isn't immune will get the disease and it will spread like wildfire. The smallpox vaccine is administered 3 to 4 days after exposure and lasts 3 to 5 years. The vaccine was influenced by cow farmers and a curious English doctor named Edward Jenner. Edward Jenner's vaccine began in 1796. He observed his milkmaid and her son, who had gotten cowpox and were asymptomatic after being exposed to smallpox. His experiment was taking the cowpox sore from the mother and inoculating her son and re-exposing them to the smallpox virus, although they never developed smallpox. Soon after, many more experiments followed, and in 1801, Jenner published his findings on the origin of the vaccine inoculation. Smallpox is viewed in many ways, but amongst the indigenous peoples, it was viewed as certain death. Smallpox is taken very serious. The last known case was in 1975 Bangladesh. The woman and her child were confined to their home until they were no longer infectious. A tracing team came in and started disinfection around her home and within a 1.5-mile radius. According to the CDC website, as of May 8, 1980, the world has become eradicated of smallpox. There is currently only 2 places who house the virus. That is Atlanta and Russia. COVID-19 is a present-day example of the virgin soil effect. This virus came from overseas. No one was immune, and it became the next historical epidemic.